There's only one thing Mike Tomlin can do to save his legacy with Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and it's something he has to do now. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's dive in here on a Tuesday, or correction, on a Monday. Oh, my Lord, so many snow days, so many delays and holidays. I'm out of whack here. But however, Mike Tomlin has to do really one thing in my eyes to save his legacy, to save his ability to go down as one of the best coaches in Steelers history. There's not many to choose from, but however, one of the best. This is, I think, what he has to do. And that's sit his ego at the doorway, sit his big, huge, swelled head, and put it at the door, leave it there, and start to think a little bit more clearly. And when you do that, it would bring him to the conclusion that he needs to bring people into the building that don't think like him. And I understand Terrell Austin signed a deal. Arthur Smith signed a deal. These guys are there. But guess what, guys? You can fire these people and get rid of them. It can happen. They can make it go away. They don't make a salary in which it would be so bad to get rid of them. This isn't a Mike Tomlin salary at $14-15 million a year. You can make these guys go away. But if you're Mike Tomlin and you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you want Mike Tomlin's legacy to be repaired here at the back part of his career, the winter of his career, you need to do what? That is bring people into that building that have different ideas, different new, vibrant philosophies in order to get out of this rut, this stale nature in which they play each and every week. There was applauding at the beginning of the season, even when they went down to Atlanta, and they lost their punter and they won. They beat the Atlanta Falcons. They kicked a bunch of field goals. Boz put up 18 points. The offense was anemic. But people were applauding guys like Arthur Smith for adjustments and things of that nature. But I don't really see any big adjustments throughout this season. I don't really see any time where the Pittsburgh Steelers took major swings at adjustments. Nothing that really screamed out, hey, we're trying to be different. We're trying to fix things. We're trying to figure things out here on the fly. We're trying to make things better. You didn't see that. You just saw a continuation week after week of them wheeling out the same product over and over and over again. And why does that happen, my friends? Why does that happen each and every year? Here as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, we see the same movie over and over. It's like we have one DVD in the DVD rack and we have to watch it because we don't got cable and that's the only thing we got to watch. That's what it's like. But why is that? Because Mike Tomlin brings people in. When he interviews these people, he is bringing people in that have the exact same vision as him. And maybe that's all well and good, I guess, if you're the head coach and you're just trying to find people to come in and continue your culture and continue your way. But that doesn't challenge you as a head coach. That doesn't challenge the team in any way. You have to bring people in that have different ideas, that are going to create conversation, going to create an uncomfortable feeling in that room because you're trying to figure out which direction to go. That's what you got to do. And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers front office staff, you have to start maybe pushing Mike Tomlin into that. If you're hell-bent on keeping Mike Tomlin as your head coach, if you are so over the top about it that you think he is the greatest thing ever, you have to make sure that he does some things that are called change. You have to make sure that he brings some people in that are different. That when they go into those coaching meetings, that there are going to be real discussions, that it's not just going to be yes, sir, yes, men in that room. And I think that has to be the biggest problem right now, guys. And I know everybody wants to, again, reinvent the wheel with this and that these problems, these issues are this, that, whatever, a million and one different things. But I really, truly believe it's something that I believe is being overlooked. And that is every coach in that building is exactly identical in the way they think about football to Mike Tomlin. They are mini Mike Tomlins. They all think the same way. They all say, hey, ground and pound, run the football, be very physical, and play great defense. Okay, I get that as your fundamental basis of your football team. That's all well and good. But there needs to be some diversity throughout that building in terms of play calling, schematics, adjustments, things of that nature that are of today's brand of football, of today's NFL. The way the NFL is driven is an offensive league in terms of passing the football. The rules are tailored to that. You see the pass interferences constantly. You see the way teams utilize the rules in the pass game to their advantage to move the football over and over and over again. Why? Because they are taking what the league gives them in terms of rules, in terms of the way they want this game to be played, and they use it to their advantage week in and week out. And the Steelers don't do that. The Steelers and Mike Tomlin believe that everything is just their way of thinking. That's it. This is it. This is the only way to play football. And we're not going to stray from that. Why? Because we're the Steelers and that's what we do. That's an egomaniac at the helm there, my friends. That is an egomaniac. And again, everybody wants to look, we didn't have this wide receiver. We didn't have this lineman. We didn't have this person in the secondary. That's why we lost. No. Sorry, this team had talent. This roster was good enough to win. It showed you that through 10 games that they won throughout the season, that they can beat teams, that they can play well, that they did have a roster that was able to win. But the schematics, when you go against good teams, aren't there. They're not able to overcome that. They're not able to find different ways to win each and every week, and that's what good teams do. They're just continually doing the same thing, like beating your head against the wall over and over and over again, and just hoping for the result to magically appear that you're looking for. And guys, again, this is what the Steelers have to do. It's very simple. There is one simple thing that the Steelers have to do. That is force Mike Tomlin into bringing people into that building that will challenge him. Period. That is the biggest thing. That is the main thing. That is the real thing that would change the Pittsburgh Steelers' fortunes moving forward. That is the one thing that would change Mike Tomlin's legacy here in the back half of his career. Because why? The fan base is screaming, you are mediocre. You have never won anything without Bill Cowher's football team. Point blank, period. That's what we're screaming out. That's what 99% of the fan base is screaming out. There is that 1% of the fan base that is Mike Tomlin, apologists. He does no wrong. We're crazy for ever wanting to get rid of Mike Tomlin here. Well, if you're not going to get rid of him, you got to make things work and you got to figure out what the problem is. And that's the problem. That's the problem. There is nobody in that building that will ever go against anything that he says. And people can say, we're not in there. We don't know that. True. I get that. But the actions, the way they come out each and every week shows us that we're right. Shows us that what I'm saying right here is absolutely correct. And it didn't take a Magnum freaking PI to figure that out. We're right here. The Steelers have to have some different thoughts and processes inside of that building. They have to come out, on a third down and say, you know what? We're going to do some different things here. We're going to move the football in a little bit of a different way. We're going to challenge the defense to think a little bit differently. We're not just going to come out there with 3 tight ends, 1 wide receiver, and try to pound the ball down your throat on 3rd and 10, 2nd and 10. We're not going to do that. We're not going to just run, pass. We're going to do different things each and every series. We're going to come out there and be different each and every time. Also, on defense, you're going to move some of your players around that have been absolutely freaking neutralized. You look at TJ Watt and you say to yourself, why hasn't he had a tackle or an assist or a sack in 129 snaps? Why? Because once teams figure out how to neutralize him and slow him down throughout the season, the Steelers don't adjust. The Steelers don't try to make things different to put him in a position to succeed. Players play, yes. But they got to be put in good schematic situations. You see some players that are of mid-tier talent do some special things. Why? Because they have a scheme in which they play that is tailor-made and suited for their skill set. A scheme in which makes opposing offenses and defenses guess and try to figure it out. They put them on their heels. And the Steelers don't do that, guys. They do not do that. You don't see any big adjustments throughout this season, maybe some slight ones here and there. They might have adjusted, like when they went to Cincinnati, they used the dump down pass a little bit to really take advantage of their subpar linebacking play in the middle of the field. Where the Bengals defense was susceptible. But then they come out and they act like, oh, nope, we're the only right people in the world, man. The Steeler way, pound the football. That's what we're going to do here against Cincinnati in Week 18. And then they find themselves losing. Why? Because they're stubborn, and Mike Tomlin's ego is so damn big that it can't fit through the front door of that building. All right, guys, make sure you join us tonight for Steel City Live. But again, this is what's wrong with this football team. And if you think anything different, I think you're just beating your head against the wall. I think you're just trying to make excuses of what could be wrong to fix it. And that's okay, because that's what we all do. But after looking at this football team week in, week out, this is the answer. Get rid of Arthur Smith. Get rid of Terrell Austin. Rip that whole coaching staff out of that damn building. Rip it all out. And if you're Mike Tomlin and you're going to be there for the next 2 years, figure out what? Bringing people in that have very different ideas than you. You don't have to try to be the smartest person in the room, because guess what? You're not very smart. And that lowers that shit down big time. Big time. But you need to bring people in that brings fresh, new life, that brings fresh, new ideas, that challenges your old school vanilla way of thinking. That's what has to be done. That's what the Steelers need to do. Point blank, period. No more, no less. And if they don't do it this season, guys, like I told you yesterday, I think the Steeler way and the Steeler culture died on the turf of M&T Bank Stadium in 2025 on Wild Card Weekend. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. We'll see you tonight on Steel City Live. This is Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason, as always. See you on the next one, my friends.